Hello, Motorcarnut here. Today we're going to be working on a VW 2009 Passat. We're going to be replacing the water pump. The water pump is a little tricky to get to, so you got to watch my steps, how to do it the proper way. This applies from 2008 to 2016 Volkswagens and Audis, the Audi A3, A4, A5, Tiguan, CC, what else? The EOS, any engine that has the, any car that has the TSI 2.0 turbo engine, looks like this, valve cover looks like that. It's going to be all the same procedure. So the water pump is under the intake manifold, so we have to remove the intake manifold. I think some other people try to do it from the bottom. That's crazy. Just you gotta take a couple of parts off in order to get in the way. I like to take minimum parts off, but sometimes you gotta do a little bit more. All right, so first thing you're gonna do is take off the air intake over here. Over here you're gonna have T20, Torx 20, one there and one there. I already took them out. This cap, you just has a little tab there. You just pick it up there, and over here it broke, but there should be a tab there. You take that off. Once you got those bolts out, you take this out of the way. All right, this is gonna be in here. Okay, you just pop that out. Okay, let's get this off to the side right now. Just pull up on the valve, on the engine cover. It's little rubber tabs, 1, 2, 3, 4. You just pull up on each corner. I already did that. I'll show you the tabs. See the little rubber mounts there? They correspond with the little balls right here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, that went flying. All right. After that, what you're going to do is you're going to take this clamp off. All right. Mass airflow, disconnect the connector. If you're not familiar with these VW connectors, there's a little tab right here. You push down and you push the tab up and it slides out. You see it? You see the little tab? Right there. In there. That lifts up when you push. You see it? Lifting up. And it lifts off over here. A lot of people take a screwdriver and just pry it in here and they break it, and now you don't have a good seal. It can vibrate and come off on the highway. Okay, so after that, you're gonna have a Torx 30 right down there, right here. Torx, no, sorry. This one right here. I have it off, but this is the Torx 30 right here. It goes right there. Zip that out, and then there's two other rubber things. You just grab it nice and pull it out. And it comes out of its rubber mounts right here. See, one in here, two, and right there, 1 and 2. Okay, and now you got that out of the way. Let me readjust things and I'll come right back. So the next thing you're gonna do is take off the breather for the PCV, I mean. Okay, so now you're gonna have to disconnect the fuel. It's gonna spray out, so keep a rag here. Okay, and over here, underneath here, you're gonna have a 17 millimeter open end wrench. You unscrew that, take that off, and just let the nut just hang over here. All right, like I said, pry this off. You got your little clamp right here. Same thing on this side. You take your clamp out, you put your fuel line, make sure make sure you disconnect the battery. Okay, same thing with over here for the purge. Take this one off, keep it to the side. What you're going to want to do is take the oil filter off, because it's going to be in the way when we pull it out. So you take the oil filter off, good time to change your oil. And then after that, over here, you're going to have 3. Here's the fuel injection harness. You got 1, 2, 3. Okay? All you do is just take the plugs out. You don't have to take this bracket out. But once you take this out, Once you take this out, you push this one off to the side. I'll show you what that means. And in back of the solenoid over here that controls the intake manifold flap, there's another plug. Take that plug off and this plug just stays where it is. Okay? And after that, these are the things I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take off, this is a number 7mm, take the clamp off and just break the seal loose a little bit and just try to push it down a little bit. You don't have to take it off. You don't have to take the pipe off, okay? There's gonna be a T30 under here. All right, another T30 over here. And this is just gonna move this out of the way. You're gonna disconnect this connector. You're gonna disconnect this connector. You're gonna disconnect this connector. Now, over here, you're gonna see, if you look down, you're gonna see another connector that's right around, right here. You see that one? Right down in there. All right, you're gonna take that connector off. Okay? And after that, I'll do that and then we'll continue. Now, when you take off this green connector, this one you just slide out of the way because this is gonna stay in the car. Okay, you slide that one off its bracket. And 1, 2, 3, and there's one in the back that goes right here on this one. Okay, you take those connectors off, and let me take the rest of the stuff off that I said before. So I took off everything I told you I would. Loosen the clamp down here, all the wiring. Now what you do is you push, you see this, how it goes in here? Just push that down because you're gonna take off, you're gonna need a T30. You're gonna use a 1/4 inch, and the T30s are gonna be on the top. Gonna be 1, 2, 3, one over there, 4, 5. Now, on the bottom, you're gonna see them. How you get to them is over here. You see that one? That's over there. That's a 10mm, and through here, on the other side, is also a 10mm. Okay, so then your Torx 30s are gonna be where you took the wire harness away. Here, let me show you. It was right over here. This one, and you're gonna look over here. Now this one, somebody already replaced this. So on the bottom over there, it's supposed to be a Torx 30 and it's not. It's some kind of a 10mm, it's not. On yours, if no one touched your car or stripped your bolts out or lost your bolts, it's gonna be a Torx 30. So when you get the Torx 30s, again, one goes through here, and then the other one is through here. Let me see if I can show you. Again, it's supposed to be right here. You see what this is? I know it's a little blurry over there. Let me see if I can focus in on it. But that's, again, that's a 10mm. You're gonna have a Torx there. Okay, so to recap, on the end, come on, focus. Okay, on the end here, it's gonna be a 10mm nut. Then over here, you're gonna have your Torx 30. Then over here, you're gonna have your Torx 30. And then over here, it's gonna be a 10mm nut. Okay, and then your Torx is on the top. Now, when you do it, you put it in here and you snake it, and over here you'll see where it goes. You see it right here? This is a 10mm. Yours is going to be a Torx. Now you take it out, and once it's loose, you can get like a magnet, right? And you can put a magnet in there, a thin magnet, and to pull it out so you don't lose it. Same thing when you put them in. All right, so that's what I'm going to do right now. Everything else is loose. Fuel line's loose. The steel fuel line over there is loose. Take this connector off here. Yeah, this car was all messed with because everything's broken. So yours is gonna have a squeeze tab. You're gonna squeeze it, and it comes right off. And after that, I gotta take the oil filter off, and then let me see what else we're gonna have to do after that. So I just pulled it out. Now you see over here on the injectors, they're pressed in, not pressed in, but there's the seal is right here, and they're in here nice and tight. So once you have those bolts loose, you're gonna have to wiggle it, maybe pry it a little bit to pop it out. You're gonna think that something's wrong, but the fact that these things are, they make a nice tight seal inside the injectors, inside the cylinder head. So that's just a little note as you're taking it out. And that's basically how that comes out. See, it was in here like this, and you pry it out, right? And I might put this. All right. So now, all right, this is the water pump. And here I can already see somebody's trying to repair it. I mean, you got that far, might as well replace it. You can get one of these you can get not a factory one, but like for $50, they have aluminum ones now. Okay. So this is the pump. We still got things to do. It'll be a good time. You have these little separators in here. You could take them out and clean them. These look like this engine was previously worked on not that long ago, I guess. Yeah, probably when they did this kind of patch over here. That's leaking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tube off. Make a little bit more room, and let's see what else we have to take off. I'll let you know what I did, but this is the one that was underneath the this is the for the pressure regulator. All right, and these went like this. So that's what you got right now. That's the pump right there, and we're gonna take it from there now. So then after that, we take off this pipe right here. All right, you have take this clamp off, take that one off, take this clamp off, take that one off, and then you have a 30 Torx T30, and take this pipe out. And now, under when you take off these two hoses, the one that's connected inside the pump, underneath there is a Torx 30. You have to take that out before you pop the whole thing out. See it right there? And it goes right down there. Okay, so this is out of the way. Make sure you have a drain pan under there before you even start with the coolant. Don't leave the coolant exposed to animals. They'll smell it. It has a sweet smell. They'll lick it and die. So just a heads up on that. All right. Don't keep it outside. When you're not working. All right. So after this, now maybe it is a better idea. Got to take the big hoses here off, the heater hoses. Probably gonna go. I don't know if I can go underneath. Let me see what I'm gonna do, and I'll tell you what I did. So now you take off the top hose. And how you take this hose off? All right, it goes on this one over here. So I put it back on to show you. There's a little tab here that you lift up with a screwdriver. Okay, and what that does, it keeps it up like this, so you can take the hose off. And there's an O-ring in here, a little O-ring that seals it. And sometimes it gets stuck, so you may have to, wiggle it a little bit to get it out. And when you put it back in, when you're ready to install it, you just clip this thing down, and see now it has a little spring tension over here that clicks onto this thing right here. All right. So now, same thing with this one. You see over here, it's got a little tab. You pull that out until it won't go no more, and then you pull the bottom hose off. That's what I'll do now. Okay, there's 5 bolts for the water pump right here. 3 long ones and 2 short ones. Okay. So now they go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And over here, for the coolant temperature sensor, you squeeze this tab in, and there's going to be an O-ring in here, which I just dropped down there. But then the O-ring goes right there, and this is the tab that holds it in. Squeeze it on there. Looks like that can break so easy. All right, and now there's an O-ring between the cooler and all this goop over here, but it's loose. So now I'm just gonna wiggle it out, clean it all up, and show you what it looks like. Okay, then you take off this 30 Torx. So you take the shit, there's supposed to be 2 of them, one right there too, but this was not there. I'm telling you, they just took everything apart. And then you take off the belt right here. You slide it off. Slide it off, and hopefully this will come out. It's all gooped up over here. Yours is not going to be like that. So here is it out. Basically, it's just the pump is right here, connected to the whole housing, and your thermostat is right there. So it's all one unit. And this was leaking on this. I mean, the car was running good, but you had a leak. I mean, it wasn't overheating. And this, see that? Somebody tried to goop it. Why not replace it? You know, I mean, you're in there. That's it. That started leaking just from that little thing. So basically, this whole unit is good. I mean, you just put new seals, make sure. I mean, it's nice to just put a fresh one. You know, let's see what he wants to do. Actually, a quick note that the thermostat is replaceable. See, it has the screws here, and it does come off. So if this is mounted in the car, it can be replaced. Just a quick note on that. I said it was all one piece. Some of them are, but this one's not. So here's the replacement. Now, it's all aluminum. You can get these on Amazon, eBay, online, like around $60. It comes with all the necessary gaskets. It comes with the 2 O-rings for the upper and lower radiator hoses. Water pump. Even comes with a coolant temperature sensor with the gasket and the little union that connects the oil cooler to the water pump. Okay, and I think it's a better replacement because it's all aluminum. Nothing's going to crack on you. It's not a factory one, of course. Factory ones are plastic. You can put that on if you want. And just wanted to show you what they look like. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go over to the car and clean up the gasket, all the old gaskets, before I install the new one. So make sure the surfaces are nice and clean. The cooler over here is nice and clean. And in here, you see the little O-ring. It's right in here. Get a pick or something. Just be careful not to dig into the plastic. Take that seal out and put the new one in. Okay, so once you have the seals, like this bottom one is already done. It has the new seal in there. Make sure it's clean in there. Make sure the clip is all the way on. Okay, and just to show you again, is like when you have these on, you use a screwdriver and you just pull this. And you pull it up to that. You see, like just like that, and she slides off. You don't have to take that clip off. Now, when you put it on, you just keep it on like this. Now, when you put the hose on, you're going to hear a click, and you know it's on there. Okay, so make sure the hose, the bottom hose is down further so it doesn't interfere when you're putting the little union on and the little belt over here. You see right here? I put like a little bit of assembly lube on it, very thin coating. Don't put no RV sealer or gasket maker unless you want to, but I don't put that. It's not supposed to have it. But some people like to put it. You put it, you can do it if you want. But I'm putting it like with a little bit of grease so it slides in nice, and let the O-rings do their sealing job. And make sure this is on nice and tight. All right? It actually goes in there and stays in there. It has like little rubber things there that keep it in place. Okay? And so basically we're just going to take it like this. Again, checking, making sure your gasket is in place. And then we're going to slide on the union like that, get it in place, and put one screw on there. and I'll take it from there. Okay, I didn't put the screw yet, but over here there's going to be 2 little pins, one there and one there. Just make sure it all sits in there and the union is in there nice like that. Okay, and now you just take your bolts and put them in there, thread them in there. Then you can put the belt on over there. All right, and I forgot to say, all right, so before you mount it up, make sure you put the belt on first, like put it on an angle, make sure the belt is on before you push it down and slide it into place. Okay, make sure the union and everything is nice and straight. It'll slide right in there, okay, before you tighten the bolts. And then get your torque wrench and put them to 90 inch-pounds. Okay, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Install your lower radiator hose and get a little bit of, you got a little Vaseline or a little assembly lube and lube up the O-ring, just a little bit. All right, make sure that the circlip over there is nice and seated. When you put it in, you're going to hear it click. And when you slide them in, notice that they're going to have a little indentation, all right, on both sides. You make sure you line up those little indentations before you slide it in. And the same thing with the coolant temperature sensor. Put a little grease on there, a little lube. All right, make sure it's seated in there. Okay, and they give you this clip, you know, but if you have the factory one, which looks like this, it just grabs a little bit better and clips on a little bit better and holds it in there. So I would use the old one if you have it, and it's in good condition. Now, when you put this clip on, right, you see this clip right here? On the bottom tab, it's gonna have the screw is gonna be almost in the way, so you have to move this clip a certain way. Let me show you, to make sure that the bottom tab is locked in. Let me see over there. You can see what I'm talking about. There's a bottom tab, right? And then you see you see how it's locked in on the bottom? You see the screw head, and to the right of the screw head, the tab is locked in. Make sure you don't put it where the screw head is. It won't be all the way locked in, and the bottom tab can be hanging out, and with the pressure of the coolant, it can pop and cause a leak. Okay, after that, you put your little dirty Torx over here, put the cover back on, and now we're going to install this, you know, put a new O-ring, okay, and we're going to mount this there, and hook up the coolant lines. So, make sure your connector for the coolant temperature sensor is hooked up, your clamps, your bolts here, and underneath here, and make sure you use a new O-ring in there, and be careful when you slide it in because you could rip it. The aluminum edges are sharp, okay? So make sure you just lube it up a little bit and make sure you don't rip it when you slide it in there. And underneath there's a bolt. Make sure that bolt is tight, okay? And now, you want to make sure the area with the intake manifold on the head is clean. There's nothing in there, nothing fell in there. Make sure your injectors over here, you know, you can clean them up a little bit if you want. Make sure the gasket's in place. And you're just going to basically slide it in. Okay? And this one, don't forget, this connector goes right in here. So this stays over here like this. All right, you can just slide it in place and then wiggle it around here and get it in place. Make sure. And another thing is, if you didn't move the injectors, you're fine. But if you notice, let me turn around. Like you see, when you slide it in, all right, the injectors have to go in here. See these slots? Sometimes they could be off to the side a little bit, one of them. And then when you put it on, you think it's tight and it wiggles. You know, it wiggles back and forth. It's not seat in. All right? It has to be nice and flush without any prep. You know, once you push it in there, it shouldn't wiggle. And what I'm talking about is right here. You see these square things? All right, if you didn't move them, you don't have to worry about it. But they have to line up and slide in each one of these. In this area right here, okay? That's what I'm gonna do now. Okay, I just slipped it in. All right, make sure that the intake over here, the hose is in there. And what I meant, like when you push it, right? When you push it, see, it doesn't wiggle from side to side. If it does wiggle, that means one of the injectors, like I just said before, is not seated in, and that's not good. All right, because I noticed that a lot of these bolts are replaced. They probably did that thinking that, you know, they're going to screw it in, it's going to slide in. That's what stripped out most of the bolts. So I'm just trying to help you guys avoid that. So then you have the connector back here. Make sure you don't forget this one for the solenoid. See it right here? That connector goes there. Okay, you slide this connector in here, and then green goes to green. Okay, then you have 1 and 2 fuel inject, and this one right here. And that goes on this side, and that takes care of the electrical on that side. After you tighten up the manifold, another that's 90 inch-pounds too. You're gonna put the wire harnesses back here, 1, 2, and 3 right here. Okay, you're gonna put this bracket on here, right here, and the one over here. Okay, 17 millimeter. You're gonna tighten up the fuel. Make sure you put the clamps here back here too. You're gonna put the fuel line back here, purge line back here. Okay, and what else? PCV hose over here, positive crankcase ventilation hose here. And we'll take it from there. Then put your oil filter back, fill it up a little bit past the high mark. You're gonna check for leaks, okay? And think everything's there. Now we're gonna just put the air cleaner back. Like I said, you screw it down here. It goes in these 2 secure points over here, the rubber grommets. And I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take it from there. So you just push this in. Make sure you don't bend the coolant hose over here. Okay, right there is your T-Torx 30. You just push it back in. Put your clamp on. Put your mass airflow connector. Put this clamp on. Okay, and then we're just gonna take the other little elbow and the other piece and put that back on. Then you put this piece on, the little hose, just push it in there. Get this piece on, right there, a Torx 20. Another Torx 20 right there. And then you put that little cap on and put the engine cover on, and you're done. Okay, I put the cover back on, this little cap here, and that's it, you're done. You saved yourself a lot of money. All right, make sure you check for leaks, start it up, warm it up, look underneath the car, make sure nothing's leaking. Always check your work. Okay, you start it up, check for leaks, and when the car is nice and hot, you want to make sure it's at the high mark right here, the full mark right here, no higher.